Valencia Club de Futbol are a Spanish football club based in Valencia. They play in La Liga and are one of the most successful and biggest clubs in Spanish football and European football. Valencia have won 6 La Liga titles, 7 Copa del Rey trophies, 2 FA's Cups, 1 UEFA Cup, 1 UEFA Cup Winners Cup, and 2 UEFA Super Cups. They also reached 2 UEFA Champions League finals in a row, losing to La Liga rivals Real Madrid in 2000 and then to German club Bayern Munich on penalties after a 1-1 draw in 2001. Valencia were also members of the G14 group of leading European football clubs. In total, Valencia have reached 7 major European finals, winning 4 of them. In the all-time La Liga table, Valencia is in 3rd position behind Real Madrid and FC Barcelona. In terms of continental titles, Valencia is again the 3rd most successful behind the 2. Valencia were founded in 1919 and have played their home games at the 55,000-seater Mestalla since 1923. They were due to move into the new 75,000-seater Nou Mestalla in the northwest of the city in 2013, but the final move date has been postponed while the stadium is still being built. Valencia have a long-standing rivalry with Levante UD, also located in the city of Valencia, and with 2 others club in the Valencian community region, Ha Copyright RCULES CF and CD Castella QDen. Valencia are the 3rd most supported football club in Spain, behind heavyweights Real Madrid and FC Barcelona. It is also one of the biggest clubs in the world in terms of number of associates, with more than 50,000 season ticket holders and another 20,000 plus season ticket holders on the waiting list, who can be accommodated in the new 75,000-seater stadium. History. The club was established on March 5, 1919 and officially approved on March 18, 1919, with Octavio Augusto Malego da Alz as its first president. Incidentally, the presidency was decided by a coin toss. The club played its first competitive match away from home on May 21, 1919 against Valencia Gimnastico, and lost the match 1-0. Valencia CF moved into the Mestalla Stadium in 1923, having played its home matches at the Algira Cubed S ground since December 7, 1919. The first match at Mestalla pitted the home side against Castella QDen Castella and ended a 0-0 draw. In another match the day after, Valencia won against the same opposition 1-0. Valencia won the regional championship in 1923, and was eligible to play in the domestic Copa del Rey Cup competition for the first time in its history. Emergence as a giant in Spanish football, the Spanish Civil War halted the progress of the Valencia team until 1941, when it won the Copa del Rey, beating RCD Espanyol in the final. In the 1941-42 season, the club won its first Spanish La Liga championship title, although winning the Copa del Rey was more reputable than the championship at that time. The club maintained its consistency to capture the league title again in the 1943-44 season, as well as the 1946-47 league edition. In the 1950s, the club failed to emulate the success of the 1940s, even though it grew as a club. A restructuring of Mestalla resulted in an increase in spectator capacity to 45,000, while the club had a number of Spanish and foreign stars. Players such as Spanish international Antonio Puig and Dutch forward Fas Wilkes graced the pitch at Mestalla. In the 1952-53 season, the club finished as runners-up in the La Liga, and in the following season, the club won the Copa del Rey, then known as the Copa del Generalissimo. European successes. While managing in different league form in the early 1960s, the club had its first European success in the form of the Intercities FA's Cup. In the 1961-62 season, Valencia beat FC Barcelona in the final. The 1962-63 edition of the Intercities FA's Cup final pitted Valencia against Croatian club Dinamo Zagreb, which the Valencians also won. Valencia was again present in the Intercities FA's Cup final in the 1963-64 season, but was defeated 2-1 by Real Zaragoza from Spain. Former two-time European Footballer of the Year award winner Alfredo Di Station copyright Fano was hired as coach in 1970, and immediately inspired his new club to their fourth La Liga championship and first since 1947. This secured Valencia its first qualification for the prestigious European Cup, contested by the various European domestic champions. Valencia reached the third round of the 1971 Euro 72 competition before losing both legs to Hungarian champions Újpesti ʻkluβ. In 1972 the club also finished runners-up both in La Liga and the domestic cup, losing to Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, respectively. The most notable players of the 1970s era include Austrian midfielder Kurt Jara, forward Johnny Rep of the Netherlands, West German midfielder Rainer Bonhoff and Argentinian forward Mario Kempes, who became the La Liga topscorer for two consecutive seasons in 1976 Euro 77 and 1977 Euro 78. Valencia would go on to win the Copa del Rey again in the 1978 Euro 79 season, and also capture the European Cup Winners' Cup the next season, after beating English club Arsenal in the final, with Kempes spearheading Valencia's success in Europe. Stagnation. In 1982, the club appointed Miljan Miljania as coach. After a disappointing season, Valencia was in 17th place and faced relegation with 7 games left to play. Koldo Aguirre replaced Miljania as coach, and Valencia barely avoided relegation that year, relying on favourable results from other teams to ensure their own survival. In the 1983 Euro 84 and 1984 Euro 85 seasons, the club was heavily in debt under the presidency of Vicente Ormo. The club finally hit rock bottom when it was relegated at the end of the 1985 Euro 86 season, and riven with internal problems such as unpaid player and staff wages, as well as poor morale. The club was relegated for the first time after 55 years in Spanish top-flight football. Arturo Tuzacubden was named the new club president, and he helped steer Valencia back to La Liga. Alfredo Di Station copyright Fano returned as coach in 1986 and Valencia won promotion again following the 1986 Euro 87 season. Di Station copyright Fano stayed on as coach until the 1987 Euro 88 season, when the team finished in 14th position in La Liga. Bulgarian forward Ljuboslav Penov joined the club in 1989, as Valencia aimed to consolidate their place in La Liga. Guus Hiddink was appointed as head coach in the 1991 Euro 92 season, and the club finished fourth in the league and reached the quarter-finals of the Copa del Rey. In 1992, Valencia CF officially became a Sporting Limited company, and retained Hiddink as their coach until 1993. Brazilian coach Carlos Alberto Pereira, fresh from winning the 1994 FIFA World Cup with the Brazilian national team, became manager at Mestalla in 1994. Pereira immediately signed the Spanish goalkeeper Andoni Zubizarreta and the Russian forward Oleg Salenko, as well as Predrag Mijatovic, but failed to produce results expected of him. He was replaced by new coach Jose copyright Manuel Relo. The club's earlier successes continued to elude it, although it was not short of top coaching staff like Luis Aragona copyright S and Jorge Valdano, as well as foreign staff forwards like Brazilian Romario, Claudio Lacubde, Ariel Ortega from Argentina and Adrian Eli from Romania. The 2000s, Valencia returns to the top of Spanish and European football. Valencia started the 1999 Euro 00 season by winning another title, the Spanish Super Cup, beating FC Barcelona. Valencia finished third in the league, 4 points behind the champions Deportivo de la Coruña +or-A and level on points with second-placed Barra Section A. But the biggest success was in the UEFA Champions League. For the first time in its history, Valencia reached the European Cup final. However, in the final played in Paris on May 24, 2000, Real Madrid beat Valencia 3-0. It was also Claudio Lacubde's farewell, as he had agreed to sign for the Italian side Lazio. Also leaving was Farina Cubes for Internazionale and Gerrard for Barcelona. The notable signings of that summer were John Carew, Ruba copyright N. Baraja, Roberto Ayala, Vicente Rodriguez, and the Brazilian left-back fubôtou copyright Leo. Also bought that season was Pablo Aimar in January. Baraja, Aimar, Vicente, and Ayala would soon become a staple of Valencia's dominance of the early 2000s in La Liga. Valencia started the championship on the right foot and were top of the league after 10 games. After the Christmas break, however, Valencia started to pay for the top demand that such an absorbing competition like the Champions League requires. After passing the two mini-league phases, copyright ʻkluβ's team eliminated Arsenal in quarter-finals and Leeds United in the semi-finals, and got ready to face Bayern Munich in the big final. Valencia had reached 2 European Cup finals in a row. This time, the final was to be played in Milan at the San Siro on May 23. Valencia Mendieta gave Valencia the lead by scoring from the penalty spot right at the start of the match. Goalkeeper Santiago ± then stopped a penalty from Mametskal, but Stefan Effenberg drew level after the break thanks to another penalty. After extra time, it went to penalties, where a Mauricio Pellegrino miss gave Bayern Champions League glory and dealt Valencia a second straight exit in the finals. Valencia went on to slip to 5th place in La Liga and out of Champions League contestation for the 2001-02 season. The final game of the season meant Valencia only needed a draw at the Camp Nou against Barcelona to seal Champions League qualification. Los Che lost to Barcelona 3-2 at the Nou Camp, with a last-minute goal from Rivaldo resulting in Barcelona qualifying for the Champions League while Valencia missed out. The president, D. Pedro Corta copyright S, resigned due to personal reasons and left the club in July, with the satisfaction of having won one Copa del Rey, one Spanish Super Cup, and having been runners-up in 2 successive Champions League finals. D. Jaime Horta replaced him as president and expressed his intention on maintaining the good form that had made the club so admired on the European circuit. There were also some changes in the team and staff. Rafael Benitez, after helping CD Tenerife to promotion, replaced copyright ʻkluβ after the latter became the new coach at Internazionale in Italy. Among the playing squad, Valencia Mendieta, Didier Deschamps, Luis Milla, and Zlatko Zahoria left, while Carlos Marchena, Mr. Caro Torres, Francisco Rufet, Gonzalo de los Santos, and Salva Bolsta all arrived. From 1999 up until the end of the 2004 season, Valencia had one of their most successful periods in the club's history. With a total of 2 La Liga titles, 1 UEFA Cup, 1 Copa del Rey, and 1 UEFA Super Cup in those 6 years, no less than 5 first-class titles and 2 Champions League finals had been achieved. That first game against fellow title rivals Real Madrid produced a significant and important victory. This was followed by a record of 11 games won consecutively, breaking the existing one set in the 1970 Euro 71 season, the season they had last won the La Liga title under Alfredo Di Station copyright Fano. After a defeat in a ± against Deportivo on December 9, 2001, the team had to win against RCD Espanyol in the Estadio Olímpic Luis Companys to prevent falling further behind the league leaders. Valencia were 2-0 down at half-time, but a comeback in the second half saw Valencia win 3-2. In the second part of the season, Benitez's team suffered a small setback after losing 1-0 in the Santiago Bernabéu copyright to Real Madrid, but they recovered from this setback and achieved 4 victories and 2 draws in the following 6 games against UD Las Palmas, Athletic Bilbao, Deportivo Alavés copyright S, Real Zaragoza, and Barra Section A. In one of those crucial games that they would come up against Espanyol, Valencia were trailing 1-0 half-time and a man down 2 with the dismissal of Carboni, but after 2 goals from Ruba copyright N. Baraja, Valencia achieved a 2-1 victory. Furthermore, Real Madrid's defeat in Anoeta to Real Sociedad left Valencia with a 3-point lead at the top of the table. The final game of the season was at La Rosaleda to face Valencia CF, on May 5, 2002, a date that has gone down in Valencia Euro unregistered trademark's history. The team shut itself away in Benalmádena, close to the scene of the game, in order to gain focus. An early goal from Roberto Ayala and another close to half-time from fubʻbɔṭu copyright Leo assured them their fifth La Liga title, 31 years after their last title win. The 2002-03 season was a disappointing one for Valencia, as they failed in their attempt to retain the La Liga title and ended up outside of the Champions League spots in fifth, behind Celta de Vigo. They were also knocked out in the quarter-finals of the Champions League by Internacional on away goals. The 2003-04 season saw Valencia trailing their longtime leaders Real Madrid. In February, after 26 games played, Real Madrid were 8 points clear. However, their form declined in the late season and they lost their last 5 games of the campaign, allowing Valencia to overtake them and win the title. The club added the UEFA Cup to this success. Valencia had now been La Liga champions twice in 3 seasons. In the summer of 2004, coach Rafael Benitez decided to leave the club, stating he had problems with the club president. He would soon become manager of Liverpool. He was replaced by former Valencia coach Claudio Ranieri, who had recently been sacked by Chelsea. His second reign at the club was a disappointment, however, as Valencia harboured realistic hopes of retaining their La Liga crown but, by February, found themselves in 7th place. Valencia had also been knocked out of the Champions League group phase, with Ranieri being sacked promptly in February. The 2004-05 season ended with Valencia outside of the UEFA Cup spots. In the summer of 2005, Getafe CF coach Quique Flores was appointed as the new manager of Valencia and ended the season in 3rd place, which in turn gained Valencia a place in the Champions League after a season away from the competition. The 2006-07 season was a season with many difficulties. A season which started with realistic hopes of challenging for La Liga was disrupted with a huge list of injuries to key players and internal arguments between Flores and new sporting director Emilio Carboni. Valencia ended the season in 4th place and were knocked out of the Champions League at the quarter-final stage by Chelsea 3-2 on aggregate, after knocking out Italian champions Inter in the second round. In the summer of 2007, the internal fight between Flores and Carboni was settled with Carboni being replaced by Angel Ruiz as the new sporting director of Valencia. On October 29, 2007, the Valencia board of directors fired Flores after a string of disappointing performances and caretaker manager Oscar Ruba copyright N. Fernandez took over on a temporary basis until a full-time manager was found, rumored to be either Marcelo Lippi or Jose copyright Moreno. A day later, Dutch manager Ronald Koeman announced he would be leaving PSV to sign for Valencia. But there was still no improvement. In fact, Valencia even went on to drop to the 15th position in the league, just 2 points above the relegation zone. Although on April 16, 2008, Valencia lifted the Copa del Rey with a 3-1 victory over Getafe at the Vicente Caldera Cubden Stadium. This was the club's 7th Copa title. 5 days later, one day after a devastating 5-1 league defeat in Bilbao, Valencia fired Ronald Koeman and replaced him with Voro, who would guide Valencia as caretaker manager for the rest of the season. He went on to win the first game since the sacking of Koeman, beating CA Osasuna 3-0 in his first game in charge. Voro would eventually drag Valencia from the relegation battle to a safe mid-table finish of 10th place, finally ending a disastrous league campaign for Los Che. Highly rated Unai Emery was announced as the new manager of Valencia on May 22, 2008. The start of the young manager's career looked to be promising, with the club winning 4 out of its first 5 games, a surge that saw the team rise to the top position of the La Liga table. Despite looking impressive in Europe, Los Che then hit a poor run of form in the league that saw them dip as low as 7th in the standings. Amid the slump emerged reports of a massive internal debt at the club exceeding €400 million, as well as that the players had been unpaid in weeks. The team's problems were compounded when they were knocked out of the UEFA Cup by Dynamo Kiev on away goals. After a run where Valencia took only 5 points from 10 games in La Liga, an announcement was made that the club had secured a loan that would cover the players' expenses until the end of the year. This announcement coincided with an upturn in form, and the club won 6 of its next 8 games to surge back into the critical 4th-place Champions League spot. However, Los Che were then defeated by 4th-place rivals Atletico Madrid and Villarreal in 2 of the last 3 games of the campaign, and finished 6th in the table, which meant they failed to qualify for a second successive year for the Champions League. The 2010s, debt issues and stability. No solution had yet been found to address the massive debt Valencia were faced with, and rumors persisted that top talents such as David Villa, Juan Mata, and David Silva could leave the club to help resolve the huge debt. In the 2009 Euro 10 season, Valencia returned to the UEFA Champions League for the first time since the 2007 Euro 08 season, as they finished comfortably in third in the 2009 Euro 10 La Liga. However, in the summer of 2010, due to financial reasons, David Villa and David Silva were sold to Barcelona and Manchester City, respectively, to reduce the club's massive debt. But, despite the loss of 2 of the club's most important players, the team was able to finish comfortably in third again 2010 Euro 11 La Liga for the second season running, although they were eliminated from the Champions League by Bundesliga side Schalke 04 in the round of 16. In the summer of 2011, then-captain Juan Mata was sold to Chelsea to further help Valencia's precarious financial situation. It was announced by President Manuel Laurent that the club's debt had been decreased and that the work on the new stadium would restart as soon as possible, sometime in 2012. During the 2012 Euro 13 season Ernesto Valverde was announced as the new manager, but after failing to qualify for the Champions League he stepped down as was replaced by Miroslav Ika. On July 5, 2013, Amadeo Salvo was named new president of the club. Almost a month after Salvo was named president, on August 1, 2013, Valencia sold striker Roberto Soldado to English club Tottenham Hotspur for a reported fee of £30 million. Peter Lim ownership. In May 2014, Singapore businessman Peter Lim took over ownership of Valencia CF after buying 70.4% of the shares owned by the club's foundation. Stadium. Valencia played its first years at the Algira Cubed S Stadium but moved to the Mestalla in 1923. In the 1950s, Mestalla was restructured, which resulted in a capacity increase to 45,000 spectators. Today it holds 55,000 seats, making it the 5th largest stadium in Spain. It is also renowned for its steep terracing and for being one of the most intimidating atmospheres in all of Europe to play. On May 20, 1923, the Mestalla pitch was inaugurated with a friendly match that brought Valencia CF and Levante UD face-to-face. It was the beginning of a new era that meant farewell to the old place, Algira Cubed S, which will always remain in the memories of the Valencians as first home of the club. A long history has taken place on the Mestalla field since its very beginning, when the Valencia team was not yet in the Primera División Cubed N. Back then, this stadium could hold 17,000 spectators, and in that time the club started to show its potential in regional championships, which led the managers of that time to carry out the first alterations of Mestalla in 1927. The stadium's total capacity increased to 25,000 before it became severely damaged during the Civil War. Mestalla was used as a concentration camp and junk warehouse. It would only keep its structure, since the rest was a lonely plot of land with no terraces and is stand broken during the war. Once the Valencian pitch was renovated, Mestalla saw how the team managed to bring home their first title, the 1941 Cup. An overwhelming team was playing on the grass of the redesigned Valencian Stadium in that decade, team that conquered 3 league titles and 2 cups with the legendary Euro electric forwards Euro unregistered trademark of Ipai, Amadeo, Mundu, Asensi and Guillermo Gorostiza. Those years of sporting success also served as support to recover little by little the Mestalla ground. During the 1950s, the Valencia ground experienced the deepest change in its whole history. That project resulted in a stadium with a capacity of 45,500 spectators. It was a dream that was destroyed by the flood that flooded Valencia in October 1957 after the overflowing of the Turia River. Nevertheless, Mestalla not only returned to normality, but also some more improvements were added, like artificial light, which was inaugurated during the 1959 Palace festivities. This was the beginning of a new change for the Mestalla. During the 1960s, the stadium kept the same appearance, whilst the urban view around it was quickly being transformed. Moreover, Mestalla held its first European matches. Nottingham Forest were the first foreign team to play against Valencia at Mestalla. He played on September 15, 1961, and it was the first clash of a golden age full of continental successes, during which Valencia won the Fairs Cup in 1962 and 1963. From 1969, the expression "Anima Mestalla", so common among the supporters, started to fall into oblivion. The reason was the change of name that meant a big tribute that the club paid to his most symbolic president that lasted for a quarter of a century. Luis Casanova Jr. admitted that he was completely overwhelmed by such honor, and the president himself requested in 1994 that his name was again replaced by the name of Mestalla, as it happened. In 1972, the head office of the club, located in the back of the numbered terraces, was inaugurated. It consisted of an office of avant-garde style with a worth-mentioning trophy hall, which held the foundation flag of the club. In the summer of 1973 there was another new thing, the goal seats, which meant the elimination of 14 rows of standing terraces, providing more comfort and an adjustment to the new times. Valencia's management started to consider the possibility of moving Mestalla from its present location to some land in the outskirts of the town, but finally the project was turned down, and some years later, Mestalla held the Spain national football team for the first time in 1925. It was chosen the national team's group venue when Spain staged the 1982 World Cup, and at the 1992 Summer Olympics held in Barcelona, all of Spain's matches up to the final were held at Mestalla, as they won gold. Mestalla has been the setting for important international matches, has held several cup finals, has been the home of Levante UD, a venue for the Spanish national team, and XL for Castella Cubden and Real Madrid in Europe. New stadium. The 2008-09 season was to have been the last season at the Mestalla, with the club moving to their new 75,000-seater stadium Nou Mestalla in time for the 2009-10 season. However, due to the club being in financial crisis, work on the new stadium has stopped. On December 12, 2011, club president Manuel Llorente reached an agreement with Spanish banking conglomerate, ba�lenthja, which ensured the financial security to resume work on the new stadium. It was estimated that the stadium would be completed in 2 years and in time for the 2014-15 season, however continued debt problems and the eventual stepping down of Llorente in 2012 meant the fate of the new stadium was once again left up in the air as the club continued to look for ways to finance its completion. On November 13, 2013, Valencia announced an updated redesign by Fenech Iribarren Architects. The new design reduced the capacity to 61,500. It also reduced the underground car park and downsized the original design's full roof and elaborate four-section aid. There were also redesigns of the interior decoration. No date was given for when construction would restart. Kit and colors. Originally the kit was composed of white shirts, black shorts and socks of the same color. Through the years, however, these colors have alternated between white and black. Sponsorship. The team have also attracted smaller, local sponsors over the years. One example is Limaplast, a Valencia-based furniture company. Club anthem. The club assigned D. Pablo Sanchez Torrella, who composed the music of Valencia's anthem, named the p'bɔdự. The hymn was written by Ramon Gimeno Gil, in the Valencian variety of the Catalan. The anthem was premiered and had its official presentation at the 75th anniversary of the club on September 21, 1993. The story of the bat. Valencia and the Balearic Islands were conquered by King James I of Aragon during the first half of the 13th century. After the conquest, the king gave them the status of independent kingdoms, of whom he was also the king. The arms of Valencia show those of James I. The unique round letters L besides the shield were granted by King James. The reason for the letters was that the city had been loyal twice to the king, hence twice a letter L and a crown for the king. There are several possible explanations for the bat. One is that bats are simply quite common in the area. The second theory is that on October 9, 1238, when James I was about to enter the city, reconquering it from the Moors, one bat landed on the top of his flag, and he interpreted it as a good sign. As he conquered the city, the bat was added to the arms. Current squad. As of July 23, 2014, note, flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Out on loan, note, flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Current technical staff. Valencia CF official website, recent seasons. Last updated, June 1, 2013. PO equals position. PL equals match played. W equals win. D equals draw. L equals lost. GS equals goal scored. GA equals goal against. PTS equals points, the 20 most expensive signings in the club's history. Statistics and records. Average attendance, 46,894, socios, 45,116, seasons in First Division, 76, seasons in Second Division, 4, historical classification in La Liga, 3rd place. Highest position in league, 1st place, lowest position in league, 16th place, games played, 2,284, games won, 1,017, games drawn, 529, games lost, 738, goals for, 3,810, goals against, 2,973, goal difference, 837, overall points, 2,789, biggest home win, Valencia 8-0 Sporting de Gijón, biggest away win, Liga 1-6 Valencia and Malaga 1-6 Valencia, biggest home defeat, Valencia 0-5 Real Madrid, biggest defeat, Sevilla 10-3 Valencia, Pichichis 1, Mundu, 1941-42, 27 goals. 1943-44, 28 goals. Ricardo, 1957-58, 19 goals. Baldo, 1966-67, 24 goals. Mario Kempes, 1976-77, 24 goals. 1977-78, 28 goals. Zamora's 1, Ignacio Izagaya, 1943-44, 32 goals conceded. 1944-45, 28 goals conceded. Goyo, 1957-58, 28 goals conceded. Abelardo, 1970-71, 19 goals conceded. Manzanido, 1978-79, 26 goals conceded. Jose Copyright Manuel Occo Torrena, 1988-89, 25 goals conceded. Santiago +or-Azares, 2000-01, 34 goals conceded. 2001-02, 23 goals conceded. 2003-04, 25 goals conceded. Most games played, Fernando, Arias, Miguel Angel Angulo, Santiago +or-Azares, most goals scored, Mundu, Waldo, Mario Kempes, Fernando, David Villa, managerial information. The following managers have all won at least one major trophy when in charge. Gallery. Honours. Domestic competitions, La Liga, winners, 1941-42, 1943-44, 1946-47, 1970-71, 2001-02, 2003-04, runners-up, 1947-48, 1948-49, 1952-53, 1971-72, 1989-90, 1995-96, Copa del Rey, winners, 1941, 1949. 1954, 1967, 1979, 1999, 2008, runners-up, 1934, 1937, 1944, 1945, 1946, 1952, 1970, 1971, 1972, 1995, Supercopa de Espanha +or-, winners, 1999, runners-up, 2002, 2004, 2008, Copa Eva de Hort, winners, 1949, runners-up, 1947, major European competitions, UEFA Champions League, runners-up, 1999 a Euro 00, 2000 a Euro 01, UEFA Cup winners. Cup winners, 1979 a Euro 80, UEFA Cup winners, 2003 a Euro 04, Fairs Cup winners, 1961 a Euro 62, 1962 a Euro 63, runners-up, 1963 a Euro 64, UEFA Super Cup winners, 1980, 2004, UEFA Intertoto Cup winners, 1998, runners-up, 2005, the Academy, Training Centre Foundation Valencia CF. Since May 2009, Valencia CF has had a training centre. This is the first multidisciplinary training centre for a football club in Spain. The Training Centre Foundation Valencia CF. The Academy offers classroom training, university education and online training related to the sport. Valencia CF is one of the few clubs in Spain that organises the MBA, the Master in International Management in Sport Organizations, currently performs with his training centre the Academy and the Valencia Catholic University St. Vincent Martyr. On the 90th anniversary of Valencia CF, the Academy opened with the University of Valencia, the first university course that studied the history of a football club. Valencia CF is the first football club in Spain, object of study on college. See also: Valencia CF Mestola, Orange Trophy, richest football clubs, European football records, list of UEFA club competition winners, sources, Valencia Club de Futbol, Bodas de Oro, de Jose copyright Manuel Hernández Perpia +or-a. 1969, Taulas Tipográficos Vila, S.L., Historia del Valencia FC, de Jaime Hernández Perpia +or-a. 1974, Editions Dani, S.A. ISBN 84-85.184, La Gran Historia del Valencia Compare, de Jaime Hernández Perpia +or-a. 1994, Levante EMV. ISBN 84-87502-36-9, DVD Valencia Compare on Hista Cube Rico en la Liga 2003, Super Deportivo 4342-2003, references. External links, official website, fútbol team profile, football team profile, Valencia at La Liga Training Centre Foundation Valencia CF, Valencia CF's channel on YouTube, Valencia CF at UEFA, the new stadium, Estadios de España.